scene for years. Born in Germany in 1968 to an Egyptian Muslim father and a German mother who converted to Islam, El-Zayat has spent most of his life in Deutschland, but is well-traveled and speaks fluent English. After studying law and economics at German universities, he went on to become a successful businessman and marry a doctor. His wife is the niece of famed Turkish Islamist Necmettin Erbakan. Needless to say, Germany has been very good to El-Zayat, yet he seemed to have little affinity for his homeland as he spoke to me of Germany's supposed intolerance for its 4.3 million strong Muslim community. From the Muslim community side, it is that you feel not part of the country, he told me as we sat in a small conference room, because many people have the deep understanding that they have done the utmost to be part of Germany, but the society is refusing them. Germany has a lot of parts now which are no longer multicultural but now monocultural, and this is a challenge for everybody. A challenge indeed, particularly for non-Muslims in places like London, Madrid, and Boston who've seen Muslim immigrants unleash deadly terror on their cities in recent years. I visited many of the type of unassimilated monocultural Islamic communities El-Zayat describes and have reported on them extensively. From Berlin to Brussels, to suburban Paris, to Dearborn, Michigan, Muslim immigrants are segregating themselves from their host societies and setting up Islamic enclaves that are often no-go zones for non-Muslims, including police. It's hard to see why a committed Islamist like El-Zayat would frown on this development. The Muslim Brotherhood's leading global ideologue and spiritual guide, Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, whom El-Zayat praises effusively, is the driving force behind the Brotherhood's state-within-a-state strategy for the West. And El-Zayat himself is helping to spearhead the rapid construction of mosques throughout Europe. A Cologne newspaper featured a profile of El-Zayat describing him as the chief representative of an organization called European Mosque Construction and Support. In that capacity, El-Zayat reportedly maintains more than 600 mosques across Europe and helps with the construction and renovation of countless others. According to the Muslim Brotherhood's own documents, mosques, or Islamic centers, are meant to serve as the beehives of the parallel Muslim societies the Brotherhood envisions in Europe and the United States. Coincidence? When El-Zayat's involvement in a mosque project becomes known, locals often protest. His reputation as a Muslim Brotherhood-connected figure precedes him. He is well aware of the baggage he carries in the eyes of non-Muslims and shared a simple, very Brotherhood-esque solution in an interview with the Wall Street Journal's Ian Johnson. If a plan to build a mosque is made public, everyone is against it. Mosques must always be built secretly. If it's not public, you can build any mosque regardless of who's behind it. You just have to keep it secret. This strategy of deception, or tahkeya, has paid big dividends for El-Zayat. It has also attracted the attention of German authorities, who have investigated his business dealings over the years, but have yet to indict him on any charges. Although the government scrutiny and ensuing bad press have forced El-Zayat to keep a lower public profile, once we began our interview, he settled almost immediately into his familiar role of crafty spokesman for the Islamist cause. The Muslim Brotherhood's Mohammed Morsi had been declared the victor in Egypt's presidential election just hours earlier, and El-Zayat was clearly pleased. I think it is a big success for Egypt and for the democratic change process that you have Mohammed Morsi now as president, he crowed. To hear Mohammed Morsi and democratic change uttered in the same sentence now sounds absurd, given Egypt's wholesale descent into Islamist chaos under Morsi's rule. Of course, to those of us who've long warned that the Muslim Brotherhood is a radical anti-American organization that spawned Al-Qaeda and Hamas and actively calls for the destruction of Israel, the idea of Morsi as Cairo's version of Thomas Jefferson has always been not only ludicrous, but downright dangerous. Yet at the time of Morsi's election in 2012, Western media and governments were still enraptured by the so-called Arab Spring. Some still are, despite its disastrous results, and had much invested in the notion of a supposedly